y'all. It is Saturday, Saturn's Day, named after and esoterically ruled by Saturn, the 10th of May. So the sun is in Taurus, the moon is in Libra. I'll reference the astrology as I see pertinent. The cards I've pulled are the Knight of Cups. In this deck, it's the Prince of Cups. The Five of Swords. And in the Dante's Inferno deck, Twisted Soothsayers. Wah, wah, wah. So, first off is the Knight of Cups. If you are a cup, or I should say you are a cup if you are a water sign. So all y'all Cancers, I can't concentrate, Scorpios and Pisces. This is your vibe check card for sure. The Prince of Cups in this deck, or the Knight of Cups, is the fiery, the action-oriented, impulsive part of what? Water, emotions, intuition, feels, psychic vibes. Rising to a challenge, attaining an emotional goal, poetic and romantic. On page 78, the Prince of Cups, I artfully negotiate for the best solution. The Prince of Cups is the archetypal knight gallant, a gentleman in every sense, honorable, considerate, valiant, and noble, not one to relish violence in battle on any level. Right? Moon is in Libra, so we're trying to be diplomats. He prefers behind-the-scenes diplomacy. If he must, he will act swiftly and cleanly to achieve the best results for all. A masterful peacemaker and artful negotiator, he is always looking for the win-win solution to problems, and his caring, compassionate presence can be felt be a very... God, I can't read this. And his caring, compassionate presence can be a very welcome alternative to bloodshed, right? Neptune and Pisces is like, can we find the peace in the war? Can we move better in the dream? Saturn and Pisces, conjunct North Node. He admirably carries and balances the feminine, feeling, and receptive side of his nature alongside the fast, focused, and actively fire side of himself. Mercury conjunct Chiron in Aries, Venus in Aries, Neptune in Aries, Mars in Leo. It's like we got a lot of action still in this. The Bunsen burner is boiling pretty hot right now. The masculine aspect is ready for the call to action. That action is inclusive of his feelings, making him a fine, loyal, trustworthy, and supportive friend and family member. Jupiter and Gemini. He's good with people. His watery temperament enables him to bring a measured, reflective pace to his activities and duties, except in the area of romantic love, where his passion can seize the day and see him leap headlong, blazing, hopeless romantic vibes. He will shift hell and high water to, quote, rescue the one he loves. Intensely romantic and sensual, he risks much heartbreak and raw pain on his path to true love. And I kind of feel like this sometimes, but I do have a Mars-Mercury conjunct in Cancer. In essence, I see this character as the Grail Seeker, the untainted romantic where life is filled with the possibility of discovery. The manta ray, flying through the ocean, navigating the different depths, teaches us how to dig within ourselves and observe our emotions with a calm gracefulness, honoring the different levels of our being and the world around us. Saturn, conjunct North Node and Pisces. Can we dig it without overwhelming ourselves emotionally? It takes real effort and concentration, even courage, to keep a flame of exuberance alive in our hearts. Mars and Leo. Instead of seeing ourselves adrift in a hostile world, we can look and see that everything carries a message to guide us to our most powerful possibility. This, in essence, is the elixir, the medicine, the holy grail. Not an object with miraculous powers, but rather a way of being in the world. North Node in Pisces, conjunct Saturn. Once you begin to see things this way, the world literally changes before your eyes. Pluto retrograding, trining to Uranus and Taurus. As we travel through life, it's an immense challenge not to be caught in the trap of cynicism, like the shadow of Saturn and Pisces. Yet to become cynical and resigned to the, quote, way things are brutally robs us of our life force. Most of us reach a point when we must consciously choose and create a discipline of it consciously choosing. Albert Einstein suggested we examine the most fundamental nature of life when we ask ourselves, the most important question you can ever ask is if the world is a friendly place. Jupiter and Gemini. Every time we resign ourselves to the opposite, we leave behind the spark of life that can be astounded by something new and unexpected, right? If we think everything's out to get us, it's going to be a darker trip for sure. So the Knight of Cups, or the Prince of Cups in this deck, the fiery, the actionable part of water, the intuition, rising to a challenge, attaining an emotional goal, poetic and romantic. And with the Sun in Taurus and Moon in Libra are both ruled by Venus, we can be very romantic and poetic today. So the clarifying card is the Five of Swords. If you're an air sign, a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, you are a sword. This is the mind, the intellect, etc. Five of Swords on page 130. I must win at any cost. So Mercury Aries conjunct Chiron energy here, right? Neptune in Aries. Mars and Leo opposite, Pluto retrograding in Aquarius. Battling your inner demons, the compulsion to win, and keeping a beneficial advantage, like staying sharp. Letting the past pile up around you, acting out of integrity. With the moon in Libra, we're seeing where emotionally we're maybe out of balance right now. We can have a better view of our own pitfalls, right? And our own quirks and issues. Mercury, our minds can see Chiron, our wounds, conjunct in Aries, and we can kind of probably ground and balance a little more effectively to be the change we want to see in the world, to be, to be beautiful and not just attack what we don't understand. Like Peter in the Garden of Gethsemane chops off a guy's ear, and Jesus is like, chill, party foul, right? Jesus would be this kind of energy where it's like, hey, I'm trying to bring the peace and the diplomacy between all the groups, and then we can shatter that with illusions of hostility, basically, towards like a namaste fail, right, basically. So the final card we got is from the Dante's Inferno deck. On Saturdays, I use this deck for shadow work because it's the wild card. So Saturn is a little more like Snape as opposed to Dumbledore. We get to really kind of dig into the darkness of ourselves. So on page 35, number 25, Twisted Soothsayers. Sounds like Twisted Sister, band name, but Twisted Soothsayers. Wondrously, each one seemed to be distorted from chin to the beginning of the chest, for towards the reins the countenance was turned. Canto 20. The journey. Dante weeps at the sight of souls whose heads have been turned around and are forced to walk backwards with tears in their eyes. Virgil explains that these were fortune tellers, astrologers, and magicians when they lived. Divination. This is certainly a perilous card for those of us who read with oracle decks. Planning ahead is all well and good, but the greater part of our focus should be on the present moment. Dreaming of success or obsessing over failure can postpone the actual work that is required of us, right? North Node conjunct Saturn in Pisces. Like, don't get lost in the dream. Be grounded. Sun in Taurus. Be here now. Balanced, spiritual, and practical, right? Moon in Libra. This card also calls into question the impressions we believe we are receiving from our intuitions. Psychic gifts and divination require a clear channel, and the message can be muddled if it is truly coming from a place of fear and anxiety. Mercury conjunct Chiron in Aries. Be here now. So how is the best way to be here now? To be present emotionally, right? To be balanced in such a way that you see yourself as a reflection of others. You're not always going to be in this woke, glowing, nirvanic state, probably. Nobody is. Unless you're an ascended master kind of vibes, right? But the idea is life is a mirror, and what we smile or what we frown at and all this energy we're giving out, we receive back as this feedback loop. Can we play with that magic well? Can we seek the grail, which is essentially our kundalini and the apotheosis there? We're battling our inner demons, and some of our inner demons are wolves in sheep's clothing, or not all that glitters is gold vibes. Like sometimes we can overextend ourselves into domains that are disempowering. If you can't make a decision without pulling a card, you've made the tools your master, right? I'm guilty of this to some degree because I tend to reference my pendulum or cards or astrology quite often. But we have to also realize we are the witness, the hub of the wheel. And even though there's all this stuff going on, we have to remain centered, Moon in Libra, and balanced and grounded, Sun in Taurus. I've heard rumor that Buddha was a Taurus. I don't know where I heard that, but maybe not. So anyway, on this Saturn's day, we need to be very aware of our emotional triggers, like where are we fighting out of fear and confusion, and how are we being compassionate to ourselves and others. That is how we drink deep from the Holy Grail without diluting ourselves, basically, and giving our power away, in a sense. So hopefully that's made sense. If you've enjoyed this, tag somebody, spread the good word. You can get a reading for $150 for 3 hours of astrology and $50 for an hour of cards. If it's your birthday, you can get half off on either. You got to prove it's your birthday to me, but half off discount for birthday people for astrology and tarot, or both. That's always fun. And if you refer somebody to me, you get half off on cards, right? So if they come to me for a reading, you get $25 card reading. Pretty good deal. So 5-star reviews, it's top shelf shit. Check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. I'll post the last episode in the comments. And yeah, I hope you enjoy your Saturn's day. Enjoy the ride. Adios.